In our current media landscape, feature-length comedy films with theatrical releases, excluding reboots of existing IP, are few and far between, and the ones that do make it to the marquee are tired and problematic. The loudest voices in comedy are the self-proclaimed edgy ones, the once-beloved comedy Mount Rushmore figures that claim that we aren't allowed to say anything anymore, not like the good old days, to a sold-out arena during yet another multi-million-dollar, hour-long special devoted to how much they hate trans people. Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, revisits those, quote, good old days. The time travel buddy comedy follows fictionalized versions of co-writers Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll in their attempts to book their band, Nirvana the band, a show at a modest Toronto music venue called The Rivoli. One of these plans involves accidentally creating a DeLorean-esque time machine that sends the two back in time to 2008, the year they created their original web series Nirvana the Band the Show, which the film is a continuation of. Between the interwoven manipulation of time and liveness within its own editing and formalistic structure, and subversive homage to the tropes and conventions of the time travel subgenre, Nirvana the Band the Show the movie delivers not only one of the most successful and fresh original comedy films to reach theaters in recent years, but a commentary on memory, bias, and the zeitgeist's rapidly evolving cultural sensibilities. In his essay Film Genre and the Genre Film, Thomas Schatz posits that film genres and subgenres act as contracts, formulas of common narrative and cinematic conventions that are both static and constantly evolving in accordance to changes in cultural attitudes. He writes that, thus, the genre film represents an effort to reorganize a familiar, meaningful system in an original way. Nirvana the Band the Show the movie honors and simultaneously subverts the conventions of the time travel sci-fi subgenre, both for comedic effect, as the film also heavily aligns with the buddy comedy genre, and to comment on cultural shifts of the past 18 years. In fact, Schatz offhandedly mentions the common character archetype of the doubled hero, particularly in romance and screwball comedy, defined as, quote, usually a romantic couple whose courtship is complicated and eventually ideologically resolved. While fans online have certainly attributed a queer reading to Matt and Jay's relationship in the film, explicitly they are roommates and best friends who seem to hate each other but can't live without one another. There is certainly a complicated courtship, one akin to that of an old married couple. The film's main character arcs are plainly Matt and Jay learning to resolve their differences and mutual selfishness. Matt learns to rein in his ridiculous, at times dangerous, plans, and Jay, after changing history to ditch the band and become a famous solo musician, learns to appreciate Matt as a meaningful figure in his life. As Schatz's theory relates to Nirvana as a time travel film, he quotes Robert Warshaw in his essay citing the term field of reference to refer to every individual genre film's need to operate within its specific cultural context, quote, the guise of a familiar social community. This specificity is what sets each genre film apart from one another. Nirvana the Band the Show the movie takes this literally, overtly using pop culture media texts to propel their take on time travel tropes, as well as highlighting the differences in the media landscape and cultural sensitivity from 2008 to 2025. For example, as previously mentioned, the film's plot plays on the butterfly effect, the notion that one small change a time traveler makes in the past has extreme ramifications in altering the present. In 2008, after a heartfelt moment with their past selves, Jay reveals to Matt that he was planning on leaving him and the band forever. Matt lashes out and decides to erase the infamous whiteboard on which they draw up all their plans to book a show at the Rivoli.
Can't change anything. Hey, be better off, right? We're gonna see who's gonna be better off. Don't.
This immediately backfires when they go back to the present, and Matt realizes that Jay is now a successful solo artist. This is conveyed in the film through montage, inserting Jay into various real-life pop culture moments of recent years, from being pranked on Ellen to being slapped by Will Smith instead of Chris Rock at the Oscars. This montage is structured well as a gag, but their inclusion of primarily controversial moments and figures is one of many examples of using time travel tropes in such a way that highlights the ever-changing media landscape, unafraid to cite real public figures in doing so. However, no scene demonstrates this more clearly than Nirvana the Band's take on the classic "What year is it?" apotheosis scene, featured in nearly every time travel film when the principal characters discover they are no longer in their own time period. In the film, Matt and Jay pick up a magazine, a common plot device in this trope, but are so distracted by a headline saying Adele is playing the Rivoli tonight that they are completely oblivious to not only the date in the corner giving away that it's 2008, but a possibly even stranger dead giveaway, the giant headshot of Bill Cosby on the cover. In the same scene, nothing else registers as off to them, not the billboards for GTA 5, or the ads for The Dark Knight or the new iPod, not even a subway ad on the back of a double-decker bus featuring the now-disgraced spokesman Jared Fogle. Beyond all these tongue-in-cheek red herrings, the apotheosis we've been waiting for as an audience, the eureka moment, occurs when Jay tries to escape Matt by luring him into a movie theater where The Hangover is playing. Of course, they don't question why The Hangover is being shown in theaters. It isn't until Bradley Cooper and Rachel Harris both saying the F-slur is met with roaring applause and laughter from the entire theater
Paging Dr. Faggot!
that Matt instantly recognizes that something is wrong.
That's a good idea, Dr. Faggot.
It's 2008. What?
Taking cancelled celebrities, felonious former celebrities, and problematic pop cultural staples of the time to tip off to the characters that they must be in the past uses real-life shifts in cultural sensitivity to convey an age-old time travel trope in a completely original and timely way, and a way that simultaneously gets a laugh. The film is not just a love letter to time travel movies, but a direct homage to Back to the Future, flat out saying it at times. But beyond that, the film lends itself to be a collage of various cultural sources and media texts. The apotheosis scene and the famous Jay montage are just a few examples. Melanie Schiller, in her work regarding transmedia storytelling, refers to the term collaborative authorship, writing, "The suggested shift from passive consumer to active participant presupposes a collaborative relationship of some sort between professional authors / industry-embedded producers and the consumer base of amateurs." While Schiller refers to this term in regard to media that transcends multiple modalities, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie is a convergence of these practices in one film. Most obviously, as even its own drawn-out title suggests, the film is a continuation of the characters and premise of Nirvana the band, the show, a name shared by a 2008 web series and a 2017 Viceland sitcom. Clips from these precursors are featured in the film when Matt and Jay visit their younger selves.
What am I gonna do? I'll grab my young self.
Castlevania Fatal Fury Ninja Chachumaro Comet. Castlevania Fatal Fury Ninja Chachumaro Comet.
But more interestingly, for years, Nirvana the band has been revered for the way they take advantage of fair use. The film very carefully but very frequently exploits other copyrighted properties in a transformative way, as did the show and web series that came before it, but also in such a way that still baffles filmmakers and producers who watch it. They actually engage with the audience to point this out overtly through direct address.
This is going to be a copyright nightmare. Like if you're watching this in theaters, thank your lucky stars, because this is going to be the only screening of this ever. 10,000 gigawatts! Dr. Emmett Brown. Come on!
Director Matt Johnson displays an understanding of their audience and the demand for the tongue-in-cheek participation with the media, as much as the film itself reads as a sandbox love letter to the media that they love, and the legacies of which they themselves want to participate in. The film is rich with niche, relevant references.
We can go visit 2008 Obama,
But also blatantly leans into 1990s and 2000s nostalgia, the way many contemporary period pieces do, i.e. the belligerent 1980s product placement of Stranger Things. However, this nostalgia feels ironic and comedic in and of itself, not only because 2008 was a more recent era than most nostalgia-bait media harkens back to, but because the writers continually beat over your head that nostalgia is feckless. You see The Hangover playing in the theater they enter, and you think, haha, no way, I remember The Hangover, that's awesome. Then they immediately remind you that the film did not age as gracefully as you may remember. The MacGuffin of the entire film is a bottle of Orbits, a fruit beverage that was discontinued in 1999. The way Stranger Things might with New Coke or Peanut Butter Boppers, Nirvana holds the Orbits in such high, mystical regard simply because it is a relic of the past.
a bolt of lightning in every bottle. God, I miss this stuff. This might be the last bottle of this in existence.
What is happening?
Only for the last mention of it in the entire film to be Jay pitched down in a flashback declaring,
It's a pile of shit in every bottle. Those drinks suck.
Beyond satirizing vapid product placement, moments like these echo one of the key themes of the film, that reality, especially the reality of the past, is malleable and consistently being warped by our memories and biases. This theme of malleable reality leaves its stamp on the film through its formalistic components, visual style, and editing structure as it pertains to liveness. The web series, the show, and the film are all shot as handheld, fly-on-the-wall mockumentaries, Matt often referring directly to their cameraman, Jared.
Oh, look, they even have a little Jared. Jared, there's you filming us. Oh my God, look how young he looks.
The film specifically honors and extends this conceit early on with repeated on-the-street interactions with real people, who seemingly aren't aware that they are being filmed or involved in a cinematic narrative.
Need these for...
I'm sorry? Drywall compound 243.
The opening scenes of the film introduce one of Matt's, quote, classic plans,
it's a plan. This is one of my classic plans, look.
which involves a real-life stunt, that is, Matt and Jay parachuting off the top of Toronto's CN Tower in an attempt to fly into a Major League Baseball game, all the while interacting with real hardware store employees and security guards who warn them not to attempt such a stunt. This inciting incident and the events leading up to it establish the impression of liveness, improvisation, and reality, an illusion which is shattered the moment you witness the duo travel back in time. However, the real-life interactions still leave the audience wondering what is real and what isn't. As the film begins to explore time travel conventions, the editing and cinematography mirror such ideas. They verbally address the impossibility of these events when they provide a logical reasoning for switching their camera quality to match their more amateur visual style from back in 2008.
And that means you guys, you can't be out here waving your cameras around like that. Because look, they've got the futuristic video cameras. So this whole 2008 sequence, which would be very hard to fake if this were not really 2008, will not be filmed.
What if we use the old camera?
Oh, use the old camera? Yeah, okay, in that case you can.
They do so to achieve one of the most impressive technical feats of the entire film. They seamlessly weave dialogue scenes with their younger selves, using real archival footage cut from the web series and visually keeping their new footage consistent. In these scenes, they use the time travel conceit to propel themes of lasting friendship and the fear of getting older.
Getting old is not looking forward to it.
You know, the truth is, if you got a best friend, you won't even notice getting older.
The film revisits the aforementioned butterfly effect not only within the plot, but formalistically in their creative use of flashbacks. Multiple scenes feature emotional, slightly slowed down black and white flashbacks to earlier events in the film, but every time a flashback is used, the original scene is replaced with a different take with slightly altered dialogue.
Guys, you have to meet my old friend, Matt.
He's a bit fat, he's a bit buff, he's my old friend Matt, and we're really happy to see him.
This furthers the film's commentary on memory and bias, reflecting on how we as human beings alter our memories of certain events, behaviors, and aspects of our culture to either fit a romanticized narrative or adjust according to new information. Anyway, that's it from me. Go watch Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, and I'll see you at the Rivoli.